Let's see what speed we can get out of it from 0. The screen's just gone black. I can't see what on earth is happening. I think
absolute.
It's certainly doing its job as a submarine. It's pretty wet. I think we're still in the air. It is absolutely epic. We're doing our best, so we're still in the air.
We got Casper the Mavic Mini for Christmas last year. We thought that this was an amazing tool for families, athletes, travellers. It's got that great spec, but it's all about the ease of use. So we never really considered it for us.
But then, Casper came to visit us in Poland, and naturally we took it out for a spin, and it was good.
And then DJI also came up with a new firmware update,
which made it very good.
Yes. They added manual exposure, manual white balance, 24 FPS at 2.7K and 48 FPS at 1080p, which just completely ramped up the specs for this sub £400 drone.
Today we're going to push the Mavic Mini to its absolute limits and see how it fits in to the workflow of a professional videographer. I'll be the pilot testing the limits of the tiny drone, and Sal will be the invigilator, the demanding critic, the scorer of this test.
Speed. The first thing we're going to test is speed. Speed is pretty simple. We're just going to absolutely ham it, full power, and just see how fast it goes. And also compare how that matches up with filming a subject.
So we're currently testing the drone in wind conditions of about 8 to probably 10, max 12 knots in the gusts. I think much more, and it starts getting really quite tricky. You have to leave a lot of spare battery. Windsurfing is the absolute perfect testing ground for this drone in terms of both speed and wind resistance. Let's see what speed we can get out of it from 0 to max. I mean, it's accelerating really quick. We're on about 10 meters per second. We've got 11, we've hit 11. 11.5, that is really fast. 12. This is honestly plenty for the vast majority of applications, and with a bit of creativity you can make literally anything look really dynamic, really fast. So this is really impressive with the sports mode. Wow, I've just topped out at 6 meters per second upwind. That was a stronger gust. That was the first time that I felt the restrictions of the Mini, which I would not have had with the Mavic 2 Pro.
Time for the scoring. Speed. The Mavic Mini went 12 meters per second. 12 points. This is an excellent result because there are not many instances in which you will. This, in most cases, will suffice. So we are very impressed. It managed to keep up with our subject. It was good. But this was also in about 8 to 10 knots of wind, so like, that's not nothing. Very good.
Next up is the #1 priority for any photographer or videographer: image quality.
We wouldn't normally compare these two drones because they're in complete different leagues, but we are going to see how the Mavic Mini fares against the Mavic 2 Pro.
Test number 3 concerns the low light performance.
As professional filmmakers and videographers, we need to know that we can use the Mavic Mini at any point during the day. So we're going to be looking at the noise levels in the Mavic Mini images.
So we've come to the Rotaries in the Peak District to get some epic low light shots. We're here just after sunset, so blue hour is kind of kicking in, and we're going to try and get some cinematic footage and see how this little guy performs. Acrobatic.
I don't believe it. In the middle of our drone test, it has started raining. How do you think it's performing so far?
It's certainly doing its job as a submarine. It's probably a bit better than I expected, but there is definitely some grain creeping into the shadows.
So can you confirm that this drone is waterproof?
Yes I can.
It's not. Is it epic though?
It is epic, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, you know, we can look into the nitty-gritty details, but at the end of the day, we're getting some epic shots. Yeah.
Just like every other test so far, the Mavic Mini's performance in low light has been incredible. The footage is still really impressive and usable even at 1600 ISO. So 1600 points seems fitting. When you bumped that up to 3200, the image starts to get a little bit mushy.
Bumped it up to 3200 ISO now. It's pretty much pitch black. I have a feeling this might not be usable.
It's not the best. Probably wouldn't use it mushy, but at 1600, completely viable. Not perfect, but viable.
It's gone really choppy, the feed has gone really choppy. And I'm literally right there. Could also be getting wet. It's probably time to bring it in actually. Oh, come on. It's pretty wet. It's pretty wet. Our next test concerns the range of the Mavic Mini from the controller. We know exactly how important this is following our experience with the original Mavic Air.
The Wi-Fi based controller can be an issue, so we want to put this to the test.
Okay, the screen's just gone black. I can't see what on earth is happening. I think we might be on return to home now. It has been a bit choppy a couple of times. I've just lost the signal. I'm getting every warning under the absolute sun right now. Super choppy feed. I think we're losing range at 170 meters. It's a new record. Low. Return to home has been triggered. That's the black screen. I mean, I think we're still in the air. Okay, so I've just lost the range at 500 meters. It's gone really choppy. The feed has gone really choppy. And I'm literally right there. Return to home has been initialized at about 250 meters away. It's really sketchy. I'm getting a lot of lag on the feed. This is kind of like back to the Phantom 3 days. It's pretty stressful flying it in these conditions, I gotta say. But then I just lost it at 230, so I'm going to be honest, this is not as enjoyable a flight experience as with the Mavic 2 Pro. Constant warnings, but we're just, you know, we're doing our best. We're still in the air.
So after a full look at the range on the Mavic Mini, it's safe to say that this is the worst aspect of the drone. The website says that it can do 2.5 miles, which is absolute
But 500 meters is really not a bad result, because I remember with the original Mavic Air, that was about its limit.
It can become a very stressful process when you're filming with such a choppy feed and losing the range at like 270 at some point. Bart was losing it at, so that's just not really a nice experience. After much deliberation with a very professional squad, we have decided, what are we giving it?
Mine's 500.
Unfortunately. But you have to remember that this is a £360 drone, and to expect any more than this is delusional.
Test number 5 concerns the size and therefore portability of the drone. The Mavic Mini takes this to the extreme, so we're going to check just how small this drone really is.
if my calculations were correct, Bart managed to fit 13 drones on his person. As regular travellers, size matters. So this is a crucial, scientific, well-reasoned test.
What are those?
What are those?
As you can see, we've tested the Mavic Mini in a range of circumstances and we really pushed it to its limits. The one final category that we've got to look at is quality, arguably the most important one. We saved it to last because we wanted to give you the opportunity to judge for yourselves based on the clips that we've provided in this vid. So now, for one last time, it's over to the scorer.
So, we really tested the Mavic Mini in brutal conditions. At midday, in the harsh sunlight, over water, and at night in the rain.
I'm an easel.
And I really cannot believe what is being pushed out of that tiny sensor. It's got an incredible quality for its price and just full stop. There's actually really decent 2.7K resolution, produces a nice clean sharp image and relatively low noise levels in low light. Overall, just super impressed. So for that reason, we're gonna give the Mavic Mini 2,700 points. For no other reason, it's just banging. You can even get much better quality footage from the Mavic Mini than we did by shooting in more favourable lighting conditions and using an ND filter. This will improve the quality so much because you won't have to overcrank the shutter speed like we did. If you do want to see some amazing showreel worthy footage from the Mavic Mini, you should head over to a video by Patrick T. I've linked it in the description. He's got some incredible footage that you can see from the Mavic Mini and it truly is next level.
So that's a total score of 3,825 points, which is an incredible result
that we have absolutely nothing more to say about because it's completely arbitrary.
But it goes without saying that the Mavic Mini is an incredible feat of engineering. Quite frankly, I can't believe that we live in a time where you can get a machine like that for 369 Great British pounds. It is, in our opinion, the best entry-level drone to have ever existed.
Yes. If this drone was around when we first started, we would have snapped this up in an instant. It's small, it's decent in low light, it's got really great quality, it's got bad but passable range, and it's under £400. Obviously, we do have the Mavic 2 Pro, which is the love of our lives, and it would be difficult to push that out. But in situations where we haven't necessarily got permission to fly in like the centre of a city, perhaps, I'm not saying we've ever done that for legal reasons, but you know, it's there, it's an option.
Bob on.
So, hands down, best entry-level drone to have ever existed. DJI smashed it out of the park with this one.
But thank you for being with us. We really appreciate it. So if you did enjoy it, don't forget to like.
Subscribe if you want to see our faces again in the future. Maybe slap that bell to get notified when we post a new video.
If you don't, we'll just slip into those DMs and let you know anyway.
Follow on Twitter, follow on Instagram, we're everywhere. Night!
Good night.
It's been an absolute pleasure being your scorer. Back to the studio.
Yeah!
Should we let them know early that the point system is completely arbitrary?
Nah.